This is Colin O'Keefe with Friday's episode of LXPN TV. You haven't really made it as a social network until you get in trouble for intellectual property issues, or so learned trendy video sharing app Vine. As its owner, Twitter was hit with a takedown notice from recording artist Prince. Joining me to explain what happened is Blaine, attorney with Bond, Schoeneck and King, and author on the Higher Education IP Law Report. Blaine, first, can you explain what exactly happened here?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Colin. So, as you mentioned, Vine is very hot right now. And it was just recently bought by Twitter and publicly launched about 3 months ago. And it's essentially a mobile application for the iPhone, iPad setting. And it allows users to create a 6-second video that they can then share and comment on and follow others who make videos. And it's been a very interesting and creative platform because there's been a lot of creativity. The 6-second minimum requirement here allows users to be forces users to be very creative. And there's some really interesting content that's being created. In this particular situation, the content creator used Vine to make a number of different videos that not only incorporated himself, but also incorporated some content that was created by others. So, for example, there was one particular Vine or a video created by Vine that incorporated clips of a performance by the artist Prince. And so it was 5 different segments pieced together into this 6-second loop. And so what happened was the record label discovered this Vine and sent down a DMCA takedown notice. Now, for those who aren't familiar, a DMCA takedown notice, DMCA is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, and what it allows individuals to do is submit a takedown notice or notification to a platform that some of their copyrights are being infringed or improperly or used without their authorization. And this is essentially a quid pro quo. So a platform can avoid liability by responding quickly to these takedown notices and removing content that's been alleged to be infringing. So here, Twitter received the takedown notice from the record label, MPG Records, and quickly responded by taking down that content. And there were about 8 Vines or videos that were alleged to be infringing, and Twitter took all of those down, as is required by the process. Now, the user does have the option at this point of filing a counter notice, but it's not clear whether or not the user will do so.
I see. And second, are there downsides to situations like this? You mentioned in your post on this story the need for a balance between protecting copyright holders' intellectual property and not stifling the creativity that copyright laws were intended to incentivize.
Yes, that's right. And it's a delicate balance that unfortunately there's no bright line answer for. And it's one of the reasons we have such a flexible fair use analysis. But on the one hand, there has to be adequate protection for copyright owned by an individual versus the right of others to be creative and make uses of content in new ways. And just as much as copyright infringement is rampant on the internet, abuse of the DMCA is also rampant. So, for example, in March of this year, Google reported that they received takedowns for 20 million URLs from 35,000 different domains. And this was from over 3,000 different copyright owners. Now, certainly, this is not all abuse of the DMCA. Many, or perhaps even most of these, are valid DMCA takedown notices. However, it's quite possible that of these 20 million URLs, some of them were making arguably fair use of the content, whatever content they were using on that website. And so there just has to be this delicate balance. Copyright owners should consider a fair use when they're sending a DMCA or before they're sending a DMCA takedown. But at the same time, of course, content creators should be aware of other people's rights when they're creating and posting content to any social media platform. And Vine is really just the latest to be faced with this type of issue.
Again, that was Blaine Benninger of Bond, Schoeneck, and King. For more of his insight, visit higheredIPlaw.com. And as always, visit us at lxbn.com for more of these LXBN TV video interviews, along with curated commentary from the LexBlog Network's more than 8,000 members. Thanks for joining us, Blaine.
Thank you, Colin.